Are you the person that the party comes to help stitch a finger back on, or to help cure a hangover after a wild night of a Cade and Kaelin mass? Then we have a list for you, our top 5 healers items that you didn't think you needed, but you definitely do. Welcome to Nothing Venture, Nothing Game. I'm the host with the most, your GM Jared, and tonight I'm joined by Steve.
Yep.
Now, if you could do me a quick solid before we go on with this video and you figure out what top 5 items we're talking about, could you please subscribe to our channel, give us a like? It really helps out small channels like ours. So, Steve, today we are talking about the top 5 healers items that people definitely need as adventurers in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Now, we have a list. We made this list up completely arbitrary in the way we've set up the list. So don't think we're listing them in ranks of best, worst, or whatever. We've just kind of compiled a list that we feel goes unnoticed by a lot of GMs and players when they're playing. And these are the items you should be looking for, or begging your GM, or asking the gods to bestow upon you as you play in your campaign. So, the first one, obviously, the Staff of Healing. Now, this starts out at a 4+, meaning level 4, and higher. It raises in levels. But, Steve, what does the Staff of Healing do for our players? If I'm a GM, I'm giving it to it. What do they do?
So the first thing that the Staff of Healing does is it gives you access to extra spells that you didn't have access to before, or it gives you the ability to cast that you don't have to memorize ahead of time if you have to memorize spells.
Mm-hmm.
It also gives you an ability to, as you cast healing spells, you get extra hit points on top of your heal spell. So it makes your healing spells a little bit stronger. So we're talking about the minimum level, the level 4 version. There are many different versions of the Staff of Healing as they grow in power.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to talk about the level 4 and the higher level ones just get more and more crazy.
Yeah.
The 4th level version, anytime you heal, cast a heal spell from a spell slot or from the staff itself, you get +1 hit points on that heal, on every heal that you cast. It also gives you the ability to cast the cantrip Stabilize, so you don't have to memorize it in your selection of cantrips of that day, and it allows you to cast the heal spell through the staff.
Mm-hmm.
The rules on staff are a bit long, so we're not really going to go into them now, but just to say that it gives you more access to more spells, and you can actually cast some spells, so a few extra spells through the staff you wouldn't be able to.
So, Steve, to cast a spell, you have to the heal spell and stuff. Can anyone cast it, or should it be on a list somewhere? Like, can Arcane cast it?
So the rules for casting spells from staves is that you must have this spell on your spell list to be able to cast it out of a staff.
Awesome. So the Staff of Healing can be used on Primal, or Occult, or Divine, which, I mean, is everyone except Arcane. So, boo Arcane.
Correct. Boo Arcane.
Boo Arcane. Boo those wizards.
All right, so then the next item we're going to go over it's going to be a consumable item, and it's actually a feather token. It's a low-level feather token, a level 2 item, and it's called the Holly Bush.
Now, I really like this item a lot, and I'm glad we put it on the list, and I know it's consumable, and the reason why we want to mention the Holly Bush is because, 1, it's a consumable, 2, it's an item level 2, so that's a very low item that you can give out as a GM, and you never really feel terrible about giving out consumables. It doesn't really change the game. What the Holly Bush does do is the moment you activate it, right? So you activate this magic item, it transforms into a living Holly Bush fills a single square, so a 5-foot square, so it's a pretty big bush. In addition, the bush has 2d4 bright red berries, and you can pick and eat a berry, and it gives you 1 hit point. One's plucked, becomes non-magical after a few seconds, so it's not like something you could store in a pocket. So this can be used kind of anywhere as a quick, like, oh no, someone went down, make a holly bush, and then start giving them those one hit point berries to keep them stabilized. And yeah, it's nothing fancy, and it's a low level item, and you could keep giving it to players, and anyone can use this. The fighter can have it, the rogue, obviously the druid or the cleric can be standing on this. So it's a really great item to have out and to just kind of throw out to your players whenever. Next up on our list is a really, really cool item, and I like this a lot. It's the healer's gloves. But to tell you about this, because it has a special place in their heart, Steve, why don't you tell everyone about the healer's gloves?
The healer's glove is a minimum level 4 item. There is an upgraded version.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a set of gloves.
Yep.
And they give you a +1 item bonus to medicine checks.
Really
and
good.
They have a once per day interact effect that costs only 1 action. You can soothe the wounds of a willing, living adjacent creature, restoring 2d6 + 7 hit points to that creature. It's a positive healing effect, and it can't harm undead, so it can't be used offensively. But this is a great item to give to any non-healer. This is someone who wants to either the upfront character, the fighter, the barbarian, the paladin who's up front in the fray. You can spend 1 action and you get a load of healing. They literally can walk over and touch a friendly to heal them. Yet again, giving people who don't normally have ability to stabilize a guaranteed way once a day to bring someone back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it gives you plus the medicine checks, which yet again just lets you heal and stabilize people and treat diseases and poisons just a little bit better.
Yeah, a +1 is really awesome to medicine, especially if you're building the doctor type character where you might be avoiding magical healing. This is an interesting way to build that character, and +1 is huge.
Yeah, like I said, there is an upgraded version if you are higher level. It just makes the +1 a +2, and it just makes the healing more healing. Just hey, it's just a pure upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great, easy item to get. Yet again, it gives you bonuses all day, as well as that one-time influx of healing. After we talk about that, the next item we're talking about is another spellcaster specific item called the prayer beads. Jared, can you tell us what the prayer beads do?
Sure. Prayer beads are pretty awesome. They are a standard looking prayer beads, and they glow with soft light and become warm to the touch the first time you cast a divine spell while holding them. So that's just a lot of flair. When you do, the prayer beads become attuned to your deity. So if you're playing with the Pathfinder deities and you're a cleric of Desna, it becomes attuned to Desna, changing their form and iconography to your deity's symbol. So that's really cool. It's a lot of flair for the DM and the players. Ironically, these beads do not transform or function for an evil caster. So sadly, you cannot be a cleric of Asmodeus and use these. So just keep an eye on that. But if you're homebrewing, go crazy. Do what you wish. This item is a level 5 plus, meaning it starts at level 5, and then there is an upgrade at item level 11. Now, why do we recommend this? Whenever you cast a spell, and this is the 5th level, I'm not going to go into the higher level. Whenever you cast a spell while holding these beads, right, and you're attuned to them, you recover 1 hit point of healing, positive healing. So if you're playing a Dampier cleric of Desna, be aware of that. If the spell you cast was a healing spell, you can grant this additional healing to your target. So if I cast heal, I cannot, and I roll, let's say, a 3, I can give them technically 4 hit points instead of 3 hit points. So it's a little boost, not huge. So yeah, so whenever you get the hit point for casting a divine spell, sadly, this does not work for cantrips, so you can't just keep running around stabilizing people. And if you cast a healing spell, you can push that extra +1 to someone else, to your target. Additionally, this does allow you to cast Bless or Heal once per day, in addition to your normal spell slots that you have. So it's a really great item for 5th level and for any kind of divine healer. I wonder if you could even do, like, it just says you have to be divine, like, you have to be able to cast divine spells. So it works great for witch, the fervor witch, oracles, clerics, even sorcerers, right? Sorcerers have divine options.
Yes.
And I don't think I'm missing any.
Even champions can get a small benefit out of this because their focus spells are divine, I believe.
Yes. So possibly even
champions. They won't get a great benefit, but some benefit.
I mean, that'd be so cool. I wouldn't mind having that, and even just having that ability to cast bless or heal once per day makes me a little bit
each.
Each. So even if I'm playing a champion, I still have that, like, kind of versatility. Like, I can do lay on hands, or I could do that 3-action heal, and tag everyone around me, which is not terrible at all. But last but not least on our list, and thank you for sticking around, Marvelous Medicine. Sorry, I had to look at the name because it's double M's would have gotten me. Marvelous Medicines. This one I really like, just for the name, because it's fun to say marvelous. But Steve, tell us about these Marvelous Medicines. Sorry,
So we're gonna say it again. The Marvelous Medicines is a level 12 item. There's an upgraded 18. Just like a lot of these items do have an upgraded version. You have to use this in 2 hands, but this does count as a set of healer's tools with a seemingly endless supply of bandages, herbs, and healing items. Yet again, a lot of that's fluff, but you never have to refill it, which is always good. It grants you a +2 item bonus to medicine checks, so a +2 is really strong. And it has an activate for 1 action. You can treat poison or 8 hours of treating a disease. So it's a 1 action treat poison, or it's an 8 hours of treating a disease. You activate the tools, you can use them to treat poison in order to produce the effect of neutralize poison. So instead of having a roll that you would make your medicine check, it mimics the spell neutralize poison. But when you treat disease, it produces the effect of remove disease.
Wow.
And once these medicines have been used to treat a patient of a disease or poison, they can't be used to treat the same person with the same disease or poison, but it can be used to heal other people. And even though once you're done doing all the diseases and poisons possible for that day, you still get the +2 to medicine checks.
And then again, that's only for that day. It's not like, so let's say you failed today, right? You could still try tomorrow. Hopefully they survive the disease or poison. But giving you free spells, that's like amazing. Again, going back to that concept of the non-caster healer, the doctor, the physician, getting these 2 free spells and the +2 to medicine is pretty powerful. And it's great. Like, you were building Balin at one point, you had a pretty high medicine check, and Balin was a barbarian, and you had healer's gloves, and this would have come up clearly, and you would have been the off healer barbarian, just angrily doing CPR.
Like, just let me be.
Now we do have some honorable mentions that we want to spit out. These didn't make our list, not because they aren't good, but just because they're a little bit more rare. And the first grouping are the Aeon Stones. And again, we didn't want to mention these because Aeon Stones have a lot to do in the Pathfinder universe. So if you are playing a homebrew, you might not have them in your campaign. So
and some of these are a little bit more situational. Instead of giving you like direct pluses to your skills, or direct, if you use this skill, instead you get some sort of similar spell effect. These are more niche effects.
Yes. So the first one, as an honorable mention, is the Aeon Stone, the pearly white. Sorry, I had to look at it. It's pearly white, like my teeth. Pearly white. And Steve, what does the pearly white Aeon Stone do?
All right, so the pearly white spindle Aeon Stone is a level 3 item. Axes, you do need to be a member of the Pathfinder Society. Yet again, if you want to run this in a homebrew game and you don't want to messing with the Pathfinder Society, that's up to you. But in general, you need access to the society to get access to this item. When you invest the Aeon Stone, you slowly start healing wounds, restoring 1 hit point every minute. And it also gives you resistance 1 to negative damage. So it's nice just to have that passive healing. If you guys are just had a fight, but you could be traveling or it's going to be some time to the next fight, it'll be hours. You're walking around in the dungeon for a long period of time. It's always nice to have that passive healing, so you don't have to stop and spend resources to top off at least one character as much as the other characters. The next Aeon Zone that we're going to talk about is the Tourmaline Sphere. Jared, what does the Tourmaline Sphere do?
So instead, this is a little higher. It's item level 7, and this is just unlike the Pearly White. This one isn't part of the society. So again, you can just pick this one up if your GM or the deities have granted it to you. So this one I like a lot because whenever you would die from a dying condition, so typically at dying 4, this Aeon Stone automatically activates and reduces your dying value to 1 less than normally would kill you. And then the stone loses its power, and you can only benefit this once per day, even if you have multiple stones. So you can have multiple tourmaline spheres floating around you. Basically, this is an extra life. You just get a free life. Good luck. Additionally, if you happen to have a wayfinder and you put the sphere, the stone in the wayfinder, it gives you this resonant power, this extra boost, and it allows you to cast a first level heal spell at once per day as an innate spell. So not only does it give you a free life, but you also get a free heal spell once per day, which is pretty awesome. It's kind of a two punch combo right there. And the last stone we have on the list is the Aeon Stone, the pink rhomboid. Say that 3 times fast. And this is item level 12, but Steve knows more about this than I do. So Steve?
So as Jared mentioned, the pink rhomboid Aeon Stone, it is level 12. When you invest this stone, you gain 15 temporary hit points. Just every day, these 15 temporary hit points. So this is not direct healing, but it's a nice buffer. And the other interesting thing about this is if you do socket it into a wayfinder, it gains the resonant power, allowing you to cast Stabilize as an innate cantrip spell. So anytime you just go, oh well, that person's down, we need to bring them up, you can just not even have to spend any resources, just spend some actions, and you can cast that Stabilize cantrip, as well as getting 15 free HP every day.
So that's our top 5 healing items that you definitely didn't think you needed, but you definitely do need. Additionally, we threw in 3 special items at the very end, but those are super niche. So if you like what we do here at Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gained, hit that like and subscribe button. And from all of us here, I want to say, have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.